What is up, guys? And it is finally October 1st. It is finally October. It's finally here. And in today's video, as the title says, as a lead up to Halloween Kills, the final one, Halloween 2018. Now, Halloween 2018. Let me know your thoughts on Halloween 2018 in the comments below. Hit the like button and please subscribe. Let's get right into this video. So, Halloween 2018. This serves as a direct sequel to the very first one. Now, I have a lot of nostalgia with this movie. This was my first Halloween movie that I've ever gotten to see at a movie theater. So there is some nostalgic there. This was my first Halloween movie that I ever got to see at a movie theater. So that was a very awesome experience to have. Now, there's a lot of positives for this movie. There's a lot of negatives for it. I will say this. I'm not going to spoil my ranking, once we, get to that point. But Halloween 2018, it's easily a top 5 Halloween movie. Easily. So, what do I love about Halloween 2018? I think the mask is amazing. It's one of my favorite Michael masks. I love the score. I love James Juice Courtney's Michael in this. I thought he had a good mixture of Nick Castle and what Tyler Mane did in the Rob Zombie films. Plays a good mixture and bringing his own thing in it as well. I like that. I liked Laurie Strode in this. I also like Alice as well. I actually prefer this version of Laurie over the H2O version. The kills were awesome. Again, there's so many things I do like about this movie. 2 comedy scenes I do like. Again, I'm not going to get into my negatives right now, but I'm going to talk about one negative now, and one of those negatives is the comedy. There's a lot of unnecessary comedy in this movie. Why? I'm not sure. I think because you could tell that this is David Gordon Green's first horror movie, so I will let it slide. But the only 2 scenes, which these are positives by the way, that I actually do like is Julian. I love that scene with Julian. That just fits into the movie and it flows well. And I also like the scene where, again, the guy is like, he's laying in the yard and he's like, oh, hey, Mr. Elrod, and it's Michael. I like that. Again, those are the 2 comedy scenes that I like. All the other ones, like the kitchen scene, all that, don't like. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Back on the positives. I like only 2 comedy scenes and that's it. I like the whole reporters. The reporters were really interesting in my opinion, and I would have liked to have seen more of the reporters. I thought the bathroom scene was cool, like with the whole teeth and all that. Again, the cinematography was good in this. Some really cool shots of Michael in this. Again, it's one of not only is it one of the best Halloween sequels, but it's one of the best production Halloween movies as well. And you gotta think they shot this and released it in the same year. So it's pretty impressive what they did here, in my opinion. And there's so many more positives I will talk more about in my ranking. I just love Halloween 2018, but it does have problems, which again we'll get into in a minute. The opening, I really like the opening, where you see the reporters. There are in Smith's Grove, and you have that whole inflatable pumpkin. That was a really cool pumpkin intro. Now we got to talk. Now I probably will jump back into some more positives here in a minute, but I want to talk about some negatives. But before I do jump into my negatives, I want to say something, and I wish they would have kept this scene, because I actually do like this, deleted scene in Halloween 2018. It's the scene where we learn more about Alice and her friends. I like that scene because we get to know more about Alice, and not only her, but her friends as well. I wish I would have kept that scene. And you hear the cheerleaders cheering, which is a huge callback to the first Halloween. Why did they cut that scene? I don't know. Again, you probably could say, well, it's for runtime. They could took out that whole kitchen scene, or trim down that kitchen scene, and had that scene put in. But it is what it is. I guess they really like that kitchen scene. So, and the food scene, which I will talk about here in a minute. So let me get into the negatives, the things that I don't like about Halloween 2018, the flaws that this movie has, and the problems with this movie, and what holds it back from being the number 1 spot or even the second spot. What holds that back for me? Again, like I already said a little bit, is the comedy. A lot of the comedy just doesn't work in this movie. The only comedy that I do like in this movie that fits with the pacing and the story would be the scene with Julian and the scene where the boy, the guy is like, oh, hey, Mr. Elrod. Those are the only two scenes. But the scene in the kitchen, like, why wasn't that trimmed down? I mean, you're talking about runtime, an unnecessary scene. So why wasn't that just trimmed down to, Alice saying, oh, hey, did you invite Grandma? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why wasn't that trimmed down? Not only that, the whole scene where the police are talking about their food, a unnecessary scene that doesn't fit. And there's even a deleted scene where they was actually going to extend this thing out, which is ridiculous to me that they was actually planning that. They actually thought the scene where the police were talking about food was actually a good scene. Yeah, they actually thought that was a good scene. But again, I didn't make the movie. A couple other things I just don't like about Halloween 2018. Like I said, the comedy. Not a fan of the comedy. I'm also not a fan of the ending. Especially when you promote this thing as, oh, it's Laurie and Michael's final showdown. You keep it that way. And I really wish we would get the original ending and the original intent. But I know we never will. I know, like, I believe Jason Blum has come out with some type of excuse. I don't buy it. They say that it's unfinished. But you showed the test audiences this ending. So did you show them the ending unfinished? And if that's the case, then maybe half of the audience didn't like that it was just unfinished. And if it's unfinished, then you could have just finished that ending. Like, it makes no sense. So I don't buy that excuse that supposedly it's not a finished ending. I don't buy it for a lot of reasons. I just think they just listen to the test audiences because probably, they probably got cold feet. They probably just got cold feet. Which, again, I can kind of understand that I don't understand, because as fans, we wanted a proper send-off for Laurie. We want something new, retired, or for character, give us something new. So, it is what it is with that. But I really wish we would get the alternative ending one day on a Blu-ray. But I know we never will. But I hope when, David Gordon Green is out of contract after Halloween ends, he becomes more vocal about the Halloween 2018 ending and what he wanted to do, and not what Universal and Blumhouse wanted to do. So yeah, that's another thing I don't like about Halloween 2018 is the ending. I don't like the ending. I personally feel like Laurie should have died. It would just seem more proper. And story-wise, seeing what they're doing with Halloween Kills, and again, just in general with Alice in 2018, it really makes you wonder. It would have made so much sense to kill Laurie, story-wise, again, because you're setting up Alice, having this close bond with Laurie, having this close bond with her grandmother. She has this very close bond, and she tries to reason with her mom and Laurie. She tries to reason with them both, but she still remains loyal and close to Laurie. And you can tell in Halloween Kills, she is stronger in Halloween Kills. So it wouldn't have made more sense story-wise to kill off Laurie and kind of have Alice take that place. Yes, it would have made more sense, but, they got to keep Laurie alive. Again, some other things. I really feel like there's just some unnecessary scenes in this movie. If I was the editor or even the director, I would have looked at this movie. Again, the director, if I directed this movie, scenes that I would have filmed, I would be like, nah, this has got to be cut. One of the scenes is at the dance. That whole scene, in my opinion, unnecessary. The whole dance, the whole thing could have been cut and wouldn't have made a difference, in my opinion. With the runtime, with the story. That was an unnecessary scene because of where it leads to. So Alice, her boyfriend, takes her phone, puts it into some pudding. Oh, guess what? He disappears. We're not going to see him to the next movie. So what is the purpose of his character then? And then what is also the purpose of that whole dance scene? What is the purpose of that? I don't get that. Not only that, Again, there's just another unnecessary scene that's on top of my head. It's the scene where, like, Lori, she tricks Karen, because Karen don't know Lori's in the house. Unnecessary, because, like, why couldn't just Lori knock on the door, and just tell them, like, hey, the bus crashed? No, it has to be this dramatic, unnecessary scene that nobody asked for. Like, why in some scenes they feel the need to make Lori so over the top? I don't get that. Again, like I said, 2 scenes I feel like they should... Well, I didn't talk about the other one, but one of the scenes that they should have kept was the whole scene where we see Alice's friends more, we introduced to her more and all that. The other scene I really wish they would have kept was the scene where, like, Lori's cleaning the guns, and the whole gun range scene was actually going to be extended, and Lori was going to put a gun up to her chin. Why didn't they keep that? I mean, you're diving into Lori's mind. You're diving into, this world of Lori. This is basically her, movie. So why not put that in the film? You could say, well, people probably would have been sensitive to it. It's a movie. You know what? You know what I mean? It's a movie, and this character is dealing with trauma. Would it make sense to leave it in the film? Yes, it would have. I love Halloween 2018, like I said, but there is just some things I would definitely change in this film. Oh, I didn't even talk about Dr. Sartain. Okay? Dr. Sartain, I think, comes off as an interesting character. He comes off as an interesting enough character, for me at least, until we get towards that part. Brackett kills Hawkins, puts on the mask. Now, again, an unnecessary scene, because you sit Sartain up as this interesting character and you kill him off and you make him put on the Myers mask. For what? I remember seeing that in the cinema and kind of going like, did they do it for shock? I mean, if they did it for shock, I mean, it worked, but maybe it should have just, that should have stayed in the in the deleted scenes. That should have definitely stayed in in the deleted scenes. Couple things I could just think of. I feel like the whole scene where Michael is like going house to house and he's killing people. I love that scene. I love the way it's shot. And he goes to the L. Rod's house. He picks up a hammer, goes into the house. And, there's a really interesting theory that I don't really hear a lot of people talking about, and that is, could have Lori made the bus crash? Maybe not on purpose, but, she was drinking and all that. Maybe she hit the bus or, whatever. So that is interesting. But final thoughts on Halloween 2018. I love Halloween 2018. Even though I love Halloween 2018, it's just, I feel like there's so many unnecessary scenes. Kind of hurts the pacing a little bit when I think about it now. Kind of hurts the pacing a little bit when you have these unnecessary scenes. Forced comedy. Unnecessary scenes that I mentioned that. Sartain. When you have that, but when you can overlook that, you have an amazing Halloween movie, in my opinion. And it's one of the better sequels, and it's one of my favorite sequels besides Halloween 4 and Halloween 6 and even Rob Zombie's Halloween, which is a remake. I know it's not a sequel, but if we're talking about like my favorite Halloween movies, but besides that, I love Halloween 2018, but it does come with its flaws, and I do have a lot of nostalgia, but again, I can't let that nostalgic overweigh how I feel about this movie. There's a lot of scenes that that they should have cut. There's the ending. Why didn't they go with the original ending? I feel like that's one of the stupidest decisions I feel like they could have made. And I personally feel like Halloween Kills would have been the same movie. Definitely. Halloween Kills would have been the same movie, just without Lori, and it would have been, Alice in that role. She would have been in that role. I don't know, man, but yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about Halloween 2018. If I have to give it a rating, I say a 9 out of 9 or 9.5, depending on my mood. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on Halloween 2018 in the comments below. Hit the like button, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's have a discussion about Halloween 2018 in the comments below, because I'm very curious to know who actually agrees with me. I want to know who agrees with me on Halloween 2018. That it is a perfect Halloween sequel, but it has flaws, it has problems. So who's with me on that? I'll catch you guys in the next video.